Newsbrief. Apex Legends has put in 50 million players worldwide during its first month. According to developer Respawn, the free-to-play Battle Royale shooter was unveiled and launched on February 4th, and managed to amass 10 million players in 72 hours. It also reached 1 million concurrent players in that time, and wound up beating Fortnite's single-day viewership record on Twitch around a week later. One of the most standout features of Respawn's Apex Legends is the title's Smart Comms ping system, which gives players a way to clearly and effectively communicate on the fly without access to a keyboard or a microphone. The system itself lets players ping a point of interest with the quick press of a button. This displays a marker on teammates' screens and triggers a vocal call out from in-game characters. Players can open a wheel to select the specific ping they want to send out, but the default callouts are entirely conditional to what was tagged, making it simple to warn of an approaching enemy, alert a teammate to a neat item find, without needing to use in-game chat. It's a neat touch that opens the squad-based Battle Royale game up to players that, for whatever reason, would not want to be able to use microphone-based chat with randomly assigned teammates. And Respawn says a lot of thought went into creating a system that accomplishes just that. A tweet sent by the game's official Twitter account offers a quick rundown of how the dev team playtested to fine-tune this feature. For a month, the team muted myths and assigned random in-game names to playtesting decks, requiring an entire unit of 3-person squads to call out enemy locations, strategy suggestions, and need finds using only the in-game smart comms system that allowed us to feel things out in an authentic way. Reads the tweet. Awesome to see folks using and enjoying smart comms. Both revenue and bookings are on the rise at Zynga, so much so that the company says mobile set new quarterly records in each. For the fourth quarter of the company's 2018 fiscal year, mobile games brought in $228 million in revenue. 92% of Zynga's total revenue for the quarter and a 12% increase over last year. The quarter also brought record mobile user pay of $158 million, up 8% from last year, and record mobile advertising revenue of $69 million, a 23% increase. As well. As a whole, Zynga saw $249 million in revenue for the final quarter of its fiscal year, an increase of 7% year-over-year. Zynga leadership notes that, with this better-than-expected growth, Zynga's turnaround is now complete, and that leaves the company well-positioned for significant growth in 2019 and beyond. Up until just a couple years ago, a profitable quarter was a rare thing for Zynga. Now, to keep this positive momentum going, Zynga plans to move forward with a focus on live game-driven player engagement and growth through new games, international markets, and emerging technologies. The company cites record performance of its Words with Friends, Merge Dragons, and CS2 titles as driving factors behind this quarter's strong results. While Zynga Poker did not do quite as well for the company as years past, Zynga notes that the launch of Wonka's World of Candy helped to offset that softness, at least partially. For the entire fiscal year, ending December 31st,
2018
Zynga saw $908 million in revenue, a 5% increase year-over-year. Bookings, meanwhile, rose 40% year-over-year to $970 million. Mobile alone was responsible for $816 million of that revenue, up 10%. and $883 million of those bookings, up 19%, come out to the 2019 Game Developers Conference in San Francisco next. Math for a crash course in how to survive and thrive as an indie dev who needs to be terminally online. From someone who did not have the luxury of logging off when one of her games blew up, specifically, Fulbright art director and Dream Daddy co-creator Leighton Gray will be at DD to present a talk on Dream Daddies and Fearful Fathers, how indies can cope with being terminally online, as part of Independent Game Summit, based on what she learned from what Gray calls an internet-induced nervous breakdown in the wake of Dream Daddy's success. This talk is meant to help you better weather successes and failures by cultivating a healthier relationship with the internet. Gray will show you how she regained her own sense of emotional normalcy and understanding, and hopefully better prepare you for the twists and turns you will encounter in your own game-making career. Do not miss out. For more information about Gray's talk and many others, make sure to check out THGDC 2019 session scheduler. It's regularly updated with bootlegs, and it's a useful tool for planning out your GD 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GD, register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, OS. Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Hold On is a premium-priced mobile brick breaker built upon the joy found in a single moment in the genre, the time when the ball sneaks behind the blocks and just goes wild, bashing away at them as the player watches. It's a game that encourages players get their ball bouncing between blocks as often as possible, savoring the chaos as the balls slam about. Gamasutra spoke with Martin Grapefruit Johnson, developer of Hold On as well as other finally made indie games like Twofold Incorporated and Dream Capsule, to talk about how the appeal of this moment shaped the game's play style, how the game's design helps the player find order and strategy within those wild bounces, and designing stages that would make this kind of moment happen often. In Johnson's words, per usual, it's a mishmash of ideas from all over. But the initial seed came from playing another game that uses a similar mechanic. Aim a stream of balls at a bunch of blocks, break them, do it again. That particular game felt like a missed opportunity, so I quickly threw together my own prototype to try out some ideas I had. There's this mysterious, universal appeal to watching a bunch of balls bounce around that just made it work really well. Basically, it became about distilling that bit in more traditional brick breakers, i.e., breakout, where you sneak a ball in above all the bricks, and it just goes wild. I cannot claim to really understand it, but the bouncing is hypnotic. With Hold On, it became a challenge to balance the inherent chaos of 50 or balls bouncing around with some type of order and hierarchy to what was and was not important. There's a lot going on once the bouncing starts, so I was fairly restrictive with effects and such, mostly using them to convey important changes and events. This is related to the layout of the generation of levels. I realized it would be a good incentive for deep shots if the blocks actually rested on each other, so removing blocks lower in the playfield would make it messy. This basically required the game to have you shoot down I did try upside-down gravity along with shooting up, because that configuration is less prone to the common mobile issue of hiding the thing you are aiming at with your finger. However, that upside-down mode was incredibly confusing, so firing down it was. The stages are all procedurally generated, but somehow, I got quite lucky with the way they are generated and ended up with a setup that was easy to tweak to make levels that strike a good balance between difficulty and fun shots. Early in prototyping, it became obvious that the most fun shots were when you managed to get your balls in a small pocket and they bounce around wildly. These types of setups were originally somewhat rare to happen upon, but once I realized I could do the rounded corners, it all fell into place. They open up the playfield much more